What's up, y'all? I'm Jared.
Yes, I am Josh.
All I know to tell you is those Reese's peanut butter cups with the Reese's pieces in it are freaking dumb.
Yeah,
It's a waste of everybody's time.
it's bizarre because see, I like each one of those things individually, but as is the case with it's very different. Reese's peanut butter without chocolate is very different than Reese's peanut butter with chocolate, and they're good. Just like why do I want all that mess together? And also, as we've discussed many times before, if it don't come in a white envelope, now if it's not shaped like an Easter egg, you don't change my Reese's cups.
Yeah, they've tried to mix it up. They tried to add flavors to it. They did a Elvis banana one a few years ago.
No
They've
good.
done the white chocolate.
No
They've done the
good.
dark chocolate. They've done the crunchy stuff in it.
It don't work.
And just it's two great tastes that don't taste as great as you think it would together because they're too similar.
Yeah, man.
And you don't get enough of it. So I don't know. I don't know why that was put on my heart to say, but somebody out there needs to hear it. That's why the good Lord dropped it down to say. But that's the type of weekend it's been. There's really not much going on.
Yeah, man, seriously, dude. I hung out and watched a bunch of football yesterday, and it's messed up because it was enjoyable, but I don't think I got a single result I was looking for yesterday. Washington won. I was happy about that. And most of the stuff I was neutral on and just enjoyed it. But I think the problem was I was looking really forward to Michigan, Nebraska. And I think the problem with that one was it went exactly how I thought it would. I was telling Jared earlier, man, every single season I sit down and I watch Michigan play twice. And when you see them, it's like, how in the world are these guys not walking away with the Big Ten? And then 2 or 3 times throughout the year in games I don't watch, they trip, they stumble, they don't play well, and it's like I just can't believe that anybody that's this good when I watch them can be so bad when I don't watch them. And I was hoping that game would be worth the crap, but Nebraska's way down. I know it's cute and it's a lot of fun. Oh, they ain't at Central Florida no more. They ain't national champ no more. Nebraska can't win a game, and you're right, they can't. And I love Mike Riley, but Mike Riley did not recruit for the last 3 years. He was at Nebraska, he couldn't get nobody. Scott Frost ain't got nobody, man. They'll get there. I hope they get there. I would love for them to. Nebraska was unbelievably good when we were younger, so it's I don't know. Scott Frost being a homeboy and trying to get them back would be kind of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, man, but it did not start yesterday.
No.
And my guys got scrubbed yesterday, but I knew they were going to.
Yeah, man, it's one of those days that you see that draw and it's kind of like, let's just try to make the best of this.
Yeah, man. We talked about it with the Pittsburgh game, man. Like Pittsburgh is the new Clemson as far as, man, you can really watch and enjoy that one and see what happens. And it's mainly we just can't hang with Clemson anymore, man. We just can't. And I say that as a Tech fan, but when I say we, I actually mean the rest of the ACC.
There's not many out there that even could try.
It's true, man. They are. I know we talk about it, or we've talked about it before, man. There's Alabama, and there's Georgia, and there's Clemson, and if you've got to pick a fourth program for consistency, it almost has to be Ohio State. But it would be interesting to see who else gets in there. But those teams, you pretty much expect them to win most of the time. Excuse me, my fish tacos are coming back on me. They were fantastic, though, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fish taco connoisseur. I eat them everywhere I go. Some of them are real good. Never had any I didn't like. It's just some of them like, it's okay.
Shout out to the Hacienda.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the name of it, man. The Hacienda San Antonio, right down the street here in Carrollton. And, you know what? There's a Carrollton in Texas, too. That's real confusing if people don't know where we're at. We're in Georgia, by the way. Sorry, I just realized I made that. Now, to be fair, my Texas geography ain't all that, and Carrollton and San Antonio might be real far apart. Yeah, I live in Carrollton, Texas, and I went 7,000 miles.
Still didn't get to the side.
Texas is like 150,000 miles. In. Nah, man. What the heck happened? Georgia won real big. They did real good because there was a little talk. I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, that Missouri didn't wind up in the top 25. But that's okay. I mean, it didn't matter anyway. You got the good win, and that's all that really matters. But we were discussing I know this is too early, but we were discussing I'm absolutely of the mind that it's all rigged anyway. It's all, they just make it all up. It's like Vince McMahon, man. Vince McMahon wants Roman Reigns to be your national champion, and he wants Alexa Bliss to give him the trophy. But nah, man,
Listen to the fans.
I think this is the year that 3 teams from the SEC get in, only because everybody else has already been blown up. UW, I think, is the only team from the Pac-12 that had a shot, and they already lost. The Big 12 has nobody, which stinks, because I'm telling you, West Virginia's a blast to watch, man. They are super, super fun. And maybe, and I know Oklahoma's rolling because, we got to keep OU polished because, by golly, And I don't know, one of those. I think OU will probably beat West Virginia. I don't see West Virginia getting in there, but I think Georgia gets in. I think LSU gets in. I think Alabama gets in, and then either Clemson or Oklahoma. That's just my take. But I don't think anyone's going to beat Clemson, so I don't know where that would. Maybe Miami could trip them up. I don't know. Miami's pretty good, but I don't know. Anyway, I can see that happening. And the way it works is this, man. You have LSU beat Alabama head-to-head in a close game, because we all know Bama don't have to play for the conference to get in the playoff. We can do that again. And don't get me, I don't mean to pick on Alabama. Ohio State set the precedent. Thanks, Urban. But you have them with one loss, and then you have LSU go to Atlanta, and you just play that one nice and tight. If Georgia's undefeated and LSU is undefeated, okay, we only need one of them to be undefeated. So winner of the SEC championship game, one loss, loser of the SEC championship game, one loss Alabama. Who's staying home?
I think that when I was watching the part of the Georgia Tech game that I got to see, it was to the point where they were looking for stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, what else can I see to talk about in this stadium?
Well, the fascinating thing about that is what happens is basically if you watch any game on ABC or ESPN, it's like, how many more times can we say Tua Tagovailoa? Because that's all they do is they just talk Alabama endlessly. So there's that. Hey, I need
whether they're on or not.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That is.
But what they put on the screen was like the Clemson schedule and the percentages at this point of what they have to win. And I think the most difficult game according to this analytic was like Boston College, I want to say. Something like that. I thought that was odd. Like,
BC won a good one yesterday, and they've been getting talked up a little bit. So I don't know if I don't know the schedule, so I don't know if it might be that classic BC Big East thing where back in the day, man, they would always schedule Miami to go to Chestnut Hill in November, and it's like, so if it's a cold weather game, maybe it could be, man.
I wouldn't hate it if it happened, but I think it'd be cool if it did. Be like cooler if it did. But I was like, why of all the games they've got coming up, that's the one.
Yeah, man. I guess it's because Florida State is, good God Almighty, terrible. So that's normally the team you look out for in the division. So I don't know if it's late in the game, late in the season, they got to go up there. But maybe it's not even late because, like you're saying, BC apparently is pretty good. I never get to see them because you know how it is with the way the divisions break up. Excuse me, our Atlantic teams. We always play Clemson. And then, God, who is the other one this year? I do not remember, and I probably should, but I haven't studied my schedule enough this year to even know who we're playing, man.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me neither. It seems like North Carolina State pops up in a couple of years, but I don't know. I don't remember, man. I need to check that out. Anyhow, it's all good. But there's that, and I guess we're off South Carolina because, boy, we tried to make them world beaters too, and then Georgia de-pants them, so I guess we can't talk about that one. But also, same thing. I just don't know my schedule. If South Carolina's going to Clemson, you're right. They would pick a trip to Boston College is much more difficult than them hosting anybody.
But man, that's one of the crazy stories that came out this week that everybody kind of lost their crap over, and I couldn't really understand why. But I wasn't sure if you heard about there's going to be a new Superman.
Oh yeah.
We don't know who it's going to be. We just know it's not going to be Henry.
Oh, the rumor I keep hearing is Michael Jordan from Black Panther. That's that's the only name I've seen in conjunction with the recast. But you're right. The only confirmation is that Henry. How do you pronounce his name?
Cavill.
Cavill. Thank you. I always want to say Cavill, and it's like that's not right, dude. So thank you. He's out.
So, and it was one of those kind of stories that came out that when you hear it, you're kind of like, why would he do that? But then when you look back and use the last couple movies, like, why wouldn't he? I haven't heard anybody confirm, say, yes, this is definitely what did it. But one of the stories that I heard that got leaked several weeks ago was there was a wrap party gift on the set of Mission Impossible. That when you see it and you Google it, it's worth Google. It's worth a look. It's kind of stupid looking, but you had the Justice League was shooting. He thought he was wrapped with that. Like, don't tell somebody it's a picture wrap on Mr. Cavill. Everybody clap. And then 3 weeks later, when you want to do reshoots, and they say, I can't get rid of this mustache and throw a hissy fit. And I'm sure if it had been up to him and they said, well, we need you to lose the mustache, we'd be like, sure. But there's another company that's paying him a lot of money to be in this Mission Impossible. He's like, no, you can't do that. The picture wrap gift was a minted coin of him from the Justice League with that terrible looking CGI crap over his mustache that he gave out to the crew of Mission Impossible. I thought it was pretty funny. It makes him sound like a pretty cool, good brother.
Pretty cool brother.
And nobody has said that that's the transgression that he had that got him fired or quit.
Got canned.
What on his end, what had to have been it was the stories that I've heard trickle out. Essentially said that to the long and short of it is they want him to be the Iron Man role for the Justice League movies. Like there was a scene for him to show up in Shazam.
Oh Lord.
And they're gonna throw him, I guess, probably in Aquaman if there's time to do that. I'm not sure. I don't know about that, brother. But essentially, we're gonna pepper you in and put you in every movie that we have coming out in the foreseeable future, and they finally sit back like, so this is all leading up to the next Superman movie, right? And they're like, no. Why would it do that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so he's like, you know what? I don't have any interest in doing that. Forget that. And so that's, but the name that I heard as far as this is not any, of course, any time that there's a superhero movie to be cast, it was like, oh, they're finally giving it to John Hamm. Like, yo, he's not that young anymore. It's been a minute since the first season of Mad Men when everybody thought, and if you give it to John Hamm, well, he can't play Batman if he's playing Superman. It's going to be pretty hard to get him in both roles. But if you're only going to have Superman show up in every other movie, then maybe it could happen. We'll have to wait and see. But that was one of the stories that kind of broke this week. I was like, a surprise, but not terribly shocking. When you look back at the past couple of movies that he's been in with DC, and he seems to get a lot of flack. That I don't know if it's 100% his fault, but I guess maybe that's what happens when you play that character. Batman's untouchable. So
That's what I'm
we got to
thinking.
talk crap about Superman.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That's been the case with the comics since Jesus 82, 83.
Yeah.
Man, you can't say anything about Batman,
Yeah.
so it's got to be Superman.
Won't be his fault.
Yeah,
So.
and in reality, or at least the reality as I see it on Planet Josh, there's a story, 12-parter, and it's called All-Star Superman. And
yeah.
I don't give a flying rodent
Dude.
what Batman story you bring. It ain't as good as that.
Yeah, can't touch that.
I've never read anything as good as All-Star Superman. As far as DC superhero stuff, I know so little. But man, that is one of my favorite things that anybody's ever done. It's incredible. And one of the reasons I love it so damn much is there's no mention of Bruce frickin' Wayne. No Batman, no nothing. Thank God.
And of all people to come from Grant Morrison, a man who loves bubbling,
Bob 'em.
really loves Superman too. that one's definitely worth a look at too.
Untouchable, man. And it's neat too because Frank got to draw the whole thing. Because that's one of the things with like the when he did the X-Men book, the stuff that Frank got to draw was great. But man, it takes him a long time, and he wasn't all the way through. And the Morrison stuff is okay. I thought the back end of it was not nearly as good, but if you break it down like trade-wise, the first two are unbelievable. The first one, I keep going down to one. The first one is absolutely paradigm-shifting, fantastic. Is for Extinction. The second one is, man, what is the second one called, man? I can't believe I forgot the darn name of it, man. Anyhow, the first four of the trades are really, really good, and then everything after that is touch and go or whatever. I don't really care for them. Anyway, sorry, but yes, I've never read a Batman story half as good as All-Star Superman.
Yeah, man. So, but you got everybody pounding that drum to get John Hamm that role again. I was like, I don't see that one happening.
Goodness.
I think they'll go with somebody else. And
Well.
speaking of John Hamm, reminds me of a review that's really quick. Don't have to spend too much of your time, just because I finally broke down a few weeks ago and watched Baby Driver, which he is in. And honest to God, I think he's the best thing in it, because you get to the end of the movie where he's supposed to be the protagonist and the antagonist, and you kind of like, no, he's right. He needs to kill this guy. And I just could not understand what I was seeing that everybody else saw, and I'd heard how amazing Baby Driver was, and you get there and you sit down and watch it, like, I'm supposed to like this dude? And you keep thinking, okay, something's going to happen, something's going to get you on his side, and then you get to the end of the movie like, no, kill him.
Did not happen.
No, man. So, and when Superman's the one that gets to do it, like, fine, go ahead. Rock and roll.
Take your moment. Do it. Yeah, man.
Do it for Martha. Both Marthas.
Do it for both Marthas. Yeah, man. Yeah, the DC stuff is interesting that we're recasting Superman and recasting Batman, which I think is kind of cool because, like we said, I would love it if DC was
A
building.
revolving door.
I would love it if DC was building towards an Infinite Earths thing where they bring back as many people that have played those roles as they can. Yeah, man. Because why not? I mean, you've got the multiverse. You can recast in the DC movies, and because surely to God they've got Gal on lockdown, right? I mean, surely to God they were smart enough to pay her enough after Wonder Woman
You
to
would think
just
so. But
take care of
I
business.
can't guarantee that. I don't know about that one.
But yeah, Momoa's the only one I'm pretty sure has got absolutely nothing better to do. But if you can keep anybody from Justice League, and then you bring in a whole brand new actor to play Superman, to play Batman, I guess Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is just too valuable. She's just there's no way that you can let her go. Excuse me, but when you bring in new actors and they just slough it off, there's nothing wrong with that. Multiverse, baby.
I haven't seen it to tell you firsthand that I agree with it, but everybody I've heard from that has seen the version of Superman that shows up on the Supergirl TV show has already said, like, we already like this one better.
See,
which is
that's cool.
anything to do with DC, as long as we're talking about the TV stuff, is what most people are down with.
I agree.
And are telling you to go check out, even the Flash. Like, man,
Yeah, well, that's
just go straight to that, and you'll have a good time.
That's the way that I'm hoping that if they're going to do it, they would do it. Is I think that an interaction between the two Flashes would work, because I think I just know people that like both of them, but it would be really, really cool to have both those dudes in a movie, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? And it's just a cool way to introduce and have, like, I don't know, everything that you do with the team stuff is going to be compared to Avengers all the time, but if you have a Justice League that's 4 people playing Batman, and basically take Avengers Forever, put Wonder Woman in the Wasp role of holding it down and being the leader, and just have like 5 versions of Aquaman, which I guess you can't, because it'd be awesome if they would go and hire what's his face from Entourage just as an inside joke. I mean, that would be wonderful, because people would really like that.
Yeah.
I've always thought that would be such a cool idea, primarily because everything that DC does in their movies, from what I've been told and what I've been able to glean from just secondhand information, it's all just derivative of Marvel.
Yeah.
But when you start doing that collapsing multiverse, that's something you can do they can't. I think that's awesome. Of course, I want the Marvelverse to collapse too, which I guess won't work, but I don't know. I just love the idea of Wanda being the main justified villainess who... I just like House of M. I think that'd be a very fun way to introduce those characters, and also that you can do a recast. Now, I know as soon as you cast Logan and it's anybody that's not what's his face, people are gonna freak. But I'm telling you that would be a huge mistake in my opinion. But also the overlap thing. If you've killed what's his face, you've killed Quicksilver, Kick-Ass Quicksilver from the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if whenever she relaunches the world, Quicksilver's back, but you get the kid from the X movies because everyone likes him better. Well, everyone that's not me liked him better. That kid's annoying as hell to me, man. But I don't know. I'm an old fuddy-duddy, and anything that tries that hard to be cool, I'm like, okay.
I like, there was talk of the multiverse stuff, and getting some of the guys that have played Batman to come back and show us. I mean, I'm sure that you throw enough money at anybody, they're going to do it. But it'd been nice to see them try. Yeah,
man. It's the only thing It's the only thing I could think of personally that would make me interested in following up with what the DC stuff is about. Because even like Green Lantern Corps, I got really excited about until it was like, and so and so is Hal Jordan, and I'm like, man, if you're gonna do the Green Lantern Corps,
skip him.
Yes, for the love of God, you don't need him. You already tried that once; it was abysmal.
Yep.
Just move on.
Heck yeah.
Move on, man. John Stewart, Guy Gardner. There's lots of places you can go, man. Oh, it's frustrating, man.
I mean, that was the other fan theory that came out this week, talking about killing off guys in the Marvel universe is this. And the thing about this theory is I don't necessarily hate it, and I'm thinking this guy, he must have seen like a early draft of a script, and like, oh man, you should have saved this because they're gonna find you out and either kill you or probably kill you. But his theory for having Loki come back is Thanos killed a projection. I think I just got a feeling that Thanos would know that, but shoot, makes as good a sense as any.
It's man, whatever they do to bring Loki back is fine.
Yeah.
Tom's way too popular for him to be gone, so
Yeah.
whatever, it's cool, man. But I'm still in camp. Pre-snap deaths. You start undoing the pre-snap deaths, and it's Jon Snow coming back from the dead. Because yes, I bag on that all the time, but all I heard for 4 seasons was, no man, Game of Thrones is so realistic. It's not like a stupid comic book where people come back from the dead, and then all of a sudden Jon Snow dies, and it's like, well, how long before they resurrect his ass? And that's exactly what they did. So it's like, okay, there you go. That's done. So pre-snap deaths, it's gonna suck to see people come back. But yeah, Tom is just the cult of Tom. It's like it'd be like not bringing Bucky back. The people that are into those 2 characters are so into those characters that if you don't bring them back, you've lost them. It's like killing Glenn on The Walking Dead.
And you go back and you watch just a line or two before it happens. It just feels like so foreshadowed when I forget who it says to who. I think it's Thor that says the sun will shine on us again one day, and then just seconds later his neck snapped, and Thanos doesn't acknowledge that line and be like, "You sure about that, brother?"
Hold on about that, brother.
That dude.
Yeah, man. It's I liked our idea of Valkyrie being the last of the Asgardians, because Thor's going. I mean, people are weird about that, but we talked about it, man. And yes, way before the preview came out, in Captain Marvel, you basically have Tony Stark's personality and Thor's powers. Boom, both those things are taken care of. And what I mean by Stark's personality is Stark's personality. The doubt and the drinking, which they left out. Maybe Carol will get it because we're 10 years in now, so little kids that got on board, they can probably handle a booze hound now. And you got to have something. It's going to be something. It's got to be something that's a big deal to knock Carol down, because Carol Danvers is completely inhuman as far as powers are. Let me rephrase that. Captain Marvel is inhuman when it comes to power set. Carol Danvers is very much a human, so we need to balance that out a little bit. Looking forward to it, man. Haven't watched the preview yet because we discussed it earlier, man.
I'm not ready for it yet.
Hey, dude, if you know you're going to go see it, I don't want to see anything. I already know. It's like Captain Marvel, as soon as I can see it, I'm good. Like, I was excited anyway because I like that character. As soon as I found out who they cast to play it, it's like, okay, A, this is going to be really good. B, that script must be out of this world. And C, the Marvel Universe is going to be in good hands, because she and T'Challa, man. Doctor Strange, these are the frontline characters going forward. That's awesome. That's totally awesome.
I've still got it, but it's the week before last. Of course, it has to be on the issue of Entertainment Weekly that I get that tells me that my subscription's expired. You sure you don't want to re-up, brother?
Re-up, brother.
So I didn't see it out of the box, but I flip it over and it's Captain Marvel on the front, and I did a Venture Brothers. No.
Threw that thing in the sewer grate.
And of course, it has to be the one night in the past probably 25 years that I happen to be home and Entertainment Tonight is on. They're talking to her on the set in the costumes. Like, why would anybody want to see that?
I don't know, man.
Man, turn this off. And that's the long and short of it. That's the whole reason they were there, is because the trailer dropped. And they're like, oh man, doesn't Sam Jackson look young again? He looks like Sam Jackson to me.
Samuel Jackson has looked that way since he was Robin McDowell's in Coming to America.
Heck yeah.
He has looked that way since he was Mr. Senior Love Daddy. He has looked that way for a long time.
Just, pop different hair on him, and it'll work.
Go, man.
And that's that was the test, dipping the toe in the waters with the Robert Downey Jr. thing, and was it Civil War, and some of the other characters in Star Wars. It was like, they're going to do that the whole movie this time around with not only Nick Fury but Agent Coulson. They're going to be themselves from '92 the whole time. So we got to see how good we can get at this before we dive full in with that, and but I'm just not ready to see it yet.
Nah, man.
And anymore, a trailer basically tells you all the high points right there in the trailer. I want to see it when I see it.
With the exception of the curveball we discussed earlier. We were discussing earlier, I think the television materials for A Star Is Born are a very interesting flip of the normal script of put everything you can possibly jam into the preview.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bunch of quotes about Bradley Cooper's the man, Bradley Cooper's awesome, Bradley Cooper's a hell of a director, and I'm telling, we were both agreeing, man, they are saving the nuke of what Steph can do as an actress. They're saving it, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm looking very forward to that.
It's gonna be good. I think it's like Christmas or maybe even Thanksgiving.
I think so. But honestly, I'm so crap with release dates.
It might even be earlier than that. It might be like before the end of October.
Nah,
Anyway,
I'm crap with release dates. So I'm with you. Could be any time, man.
you know, if you're watching this, then it's probably already. But
If you're watching this, we're talking about the sequel. Star Wars Born 2 is on its way now.
so go see that one.
That's right, man. Go see the other. If you like the first one, watch it again.
Stars Born 2, star harder.
Yeah, for real, man. Man, shoot. I don't know what I was gonna say. It doesn't really matter though. But
Star Born here.
I'm very much with you on. I don't know. I just see a lot of posts about. I mean, Captain Marvel posts have been up forever and ever, and it's just the same as always. I guess we can talk about the new Joker. I almost said Ledger.
Yeah.
The new Joker, where it's the same. It's the
that was
same
another
as
one.
it always is. Anytime anybody releases anything, it's gonna suck. It's terrible. It's disrespectful to the character. I'm not gonna watch it because I love worship Heath Ledger. And we discussed it, man. You can't find anybody that doesn't think Ledger's the greatest thing of all time now. But let me tell you, that same number of people, when they said he got the part, existed. Everybody I know took a dump on
The
that.
guy from 10 Things I Hate
Are
About
you
You.
kidding me? They're gonna get that pretty boy to play the Joker?
Yeah.
The Joker is crazy.
Okay.
He can't do crazy. And it's like, I very specifically remember that my brother is who told me what was going on. And our mutual reaction was like, if that's who they've cast, I wonder what he's bringing. Because it just seems very unusual, and it's like, well, man, he must have.
I didn't like it when I first heard it.
Oh,
I
man.
can remember that.
A part of it, though, to be fair, and I'm sure you guys have gleaned this if you've watched the show more than once. I don't give a crap about the Joker. The character's boring to me. I don't care. It's fine. I know a lot of people like it, but it's not my thing. So I'm like, okay. But then but we've discussed that before as well. You can have Christian Bale, you can have Anne Hathaway, you can have, oh man, what's her name that played Talia al Ghul? I love her. I just can't think of what her name is. But anyway, you can have her.
Tattoo? She,
Yeah, man. No. That's a different girl. Yeah, it'll come to me in a second. I just can't. Marianne Cotillard, that's her name. I like these people, but I don't care. And the reason I don't care is this. The deal with Christopher Nolan's Batman, in my opinion, is when you take Jim Gordon and you hire that guy to play him, you're into something different.
Yeah.
You're doing something totally different, because if you care enough about Commissioner Gordon to hire that cat to play him, you care, and you really, that's very, very cool, because I think that Jim is a very underrated character, and Gary was awesome. That's that good stuff.
yeah, man. Looked like he walked right off the page of Long Halloween.
Yeah,
which is,
man.
My jam.
Mine too. I think that's my favorite Batman story. I really do love Dark Knight Returns. I love the first 3 parts of Dark Knight Returns. The last part's okay, but it's Batman versus Superman. So I didn't care about the movie. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's okay. I don't know what else I really liked, but I do know. I'm with you. That's Long Halloween's my favorite one ever. That's an incredibly good story, man. Excuse me.
But that's and I couldn't avoid it because it's really not a trailer to be seen. But I still don't like that. Basically, test footage that gets released. I didn't watch it with the sound on, so if there was lines or
Oh
anything,
yeah, you gotta watch it with the sound on. Just because the song, the song they play over the top of it is what makes it. Because that's actually what I liked about it. Is that, okay, it works, but I won't ruin it for you.
I didn't. I thought it was. I thought it was fine. I thought it was like what we had talked about earlier. We probably said it here before. Is the Jared Leto Joker thing? I wasn't down with, but this to me seems to be something familiar.
Yeah, I just, my thing is, again, not being a huge fan, maybe I'm not the person to ask, but I just love who they picked. The guys,
that hurts nothing.
I'm very much with you.
When you cast that dude, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And some of the rumored people that you hear being involved with this Joker may be like, well, at least somebody gives some fraction of a damn, which makes you interested again. And I'm talk about a DC movie that I'm interested in. I didn't think it would happen, but I'll, I can't help but get interested when you have those people involved.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's one of my things too. Is like, again, same thing with Captain Marvel. I was gonna check out anyway, just because I like the character. But as soon as you announce the cast, it's like,
okay,
good. Don't need previews. Don't need Entertainment Weekly. I'm with you. It's like, nope, I'm good. I got it.
So that's
Black Panther too, actually. But Black Panther, I was so excited they were doing that character. That because that's the thing. I understand they're both captains, so we have to trade out Captain America for Captain Marvel. But that's not really that's not a trade-off as far as what the characters, the function the characters, play in the movie. It doesn't work that way. It's my opinion, doesn't work that way because you're not going to. The most important thing that Steve Rogers does in the Avengers is keep them all together. Steve is the shrink. Steve is the grandpa. Steve holds them down. That's T'Challa, man. T'Challa's got the bank book too, so he takes care of that part of Stark. But the most important thing is, man, T'Challa's heart, man. Who doesn't want to die for that guy? Watch him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I'm still excited about people dying in the next Infinity War because maybe those will actually count. And again, low-key people, don't get mad. Excuse me, because I know he's coming back. He's too popular. It's like Jon Snow. I did not expect them to leave Jon Snow dead. I promise you. It's like, no. They're just going to backslide on the realism. Because man, it's got dragons and it's got like White Walkers that live out in the woods. Don't talk to me about realism. I don't need that. I don't need everything to be gritty and real. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that junk. I don't need, heat with a cowl and a cape. That's okay.
Yeah, man.
So it's okay for fantasy stuff to be fantasy stuff. I'm good with that. Because that's the way it goes. Big boy.
You want to talk about the McCartney dimes that got dropped that were
Oh,
hilarious?
yeah, we can discuss the New York Post.
Because we didn't get to talk. It's been several months ago when Quincy Jones went crazy and started ratting out on all his friends that the dead ones that he didn't like,
Oh, yeah, they did it. They totally did it.
and the ones that are dead that he liked. Well, I'm not ready to talk about that one. Like, well,
Of course you're not.
okay, fine.
Let me check my email real quick. Still alive? No, I'm not ready to talk about that one.
I just thought it was, we didn't need Quincy Jones to tell us some of those guys were into that stuff they were into. We knew.
Marlon Brando had sex with every dude on Earth from 1957 to 1983. I'm pretty sure I already knew that.
And you had like you wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, I'm down. And has it hurt his legacy one iota? No.
Nobody cares.
Has it hurt Richard Pryor's? No. Nobody cared. We already knew that these guys were into the unusual type of things that they like to do, and that's fine.
It piggybacks on something we've discussed before, but fortunately we can discuss it now and it doesn't go into the grotesque areas that we went to last time. But this is, men are pretty simple. We're pretty simple. And for a lot of people, the appealing part of the money, fame, power thing is the sex grab. Well, once sex becomes basically, it's not a challenge anymore.
What, you have to move on to the next thing.
You try different stuff. That's how that works, man. I mean, it's weird, but maybe it's not weird. It's just that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So, man, if Richard's, it's hard to explain, but at least this time we can talk about sexual psyche and doesn't get into the gross stuff that we did last time of criminality. This is just making a different decision. What's wrong with that? Nothing. So. Yeah, man, I think it's interesting. It makes you, got Quincy's name back out there again, just like McCartney diamond on John Lennon, got his back out there. That's great. Enjoy your 15 minutes, but
I think he's going around promoting an album.
My
song.
the album is coming out, and
We do.
John Lennon, we used to circle jack. Not that big of a deal, but odds in Liverpool. Anyway, we were discussing the lovely, fantastic headline of the New York Post, which honestly would probably be funnier if you just go look it up yourself. But remind yourself it's real. It's like they really ran this. So the New York Post, not my favorite publication on earth, but is there a single newspaper that you care about anymore? The answer is no.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I thought the headline and then I would call it the sub-headline, but it's the secondary headline is quite hilarious as well. And it's stupid, but nobody cares, man. It's like we talked about, man. Finding out that John Lennon used to circle jerk with guys. Paul McCartney come out and talk about how many times they bagged each other. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's a John Lennon fan is going to care. Unlike, for some reason, the Willie Nelson fans that have lost their minds because he's doing a concert for Beto O'Rourke. And I'm like, at what point in the last 50 years of his public life did you ever think Willie Nelson was a conservative?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, for me, the answer is none. Not one single day.
I didn't get the shot with that one either.
Farm Aid was a middle finger to Reaganomics. That's what it was. Maybe you didn't. But you know what? I mean, we're talking about an era of people where it was a candidate that used "Born in the USA" as his re-election song, and it's like, wow, somebody didn't listen to that one, did they?
Not at all.
So it's like, but I know people that still are like, oh, I just can't get down with Springsteen and that rah-rah USA stuff. And I'm like, man, you do not check out those lyrics, do you? It's like, no. That's not what he's talking about.
Wasn't that something supposed to be? They're singing about mom and cowboys and whiskey from horses. What's up with this?
What's up? What you doing, Willie?
What's
What's going on, Willie? We just turned into Keenan Thompson from That's awesome. That's one of my favorite characters he does, man.
You ain't watched them pantsing yet, but
That's so stupid, but I love it, man.
The craziest non sequiturs get yelled out during that character, and they're all hilarious.
It's real, man. I don't remember what exactly it is, but it's something along the lines of, my neighbors always tell me, Willie, you're supposed to bury a dog after they die. It's not what he says, but it's something like that. Like, my God, man. So yes, to summarize, crazy kooks in liberal Hollywood and entertainment jumping in the bed with everybody under the sun. Some of us aren't surprised by that.
Yeah.
It's okay. Have fun. Do your thing. Enjoy your sex life. Do it. It's all good, man. Enjoy it now while you can.
Tell him, Steve Dave. No. That's what's up.
Take it easy, y'all.
We go.